Hello, you rock stars. This is Bo Short, and I'd like to welcome you all to the Building Champions call. It is a gorgeous Saturday morning. I am sitting here in a conference room in Seattle, Washington, and I'm literally looking out a window, and there's Mount Rainier. It is absolutely stunning. We're at Mannatech out in Seattle with some wonderful, wonderful people, many of whom you guys know. And this is just the beginning of great growth. And just know that I'm honored to be with you. It's a beautiful day. I hope it's a gorgeous day where you are. It's a Saturday, so I hope it's also a wonderful day with your family. And I just want y'all to know that this is the beginning of something very special, very unique, and something that has the potential not only of affecting the lives of 5 million children, but of affecting the lives of the children in your home. And I think that's something we never need to lose sight of. That this is that for those of you that are championing this mission, that you're not just championing a mission of 5 million children, you're championing a mission of children in your home, children in your neighborhood, your family's future, and just the things in life that we all know for us personally are very, very important. It is that adage, you do well by doing good. And I think that is a great blessing, that we can accomplish great things in life, make our dreams come true by doing good things. Because I think at the end of the day, most people just want to know that they, in their lifetime, that they were able to provide the lifestyle for their family they deserve, and they were able to make a difference in the world in some way. And so that's what we're doing. And we are going to do it in big, bold fashion. And quite frankly, I'm going to be blunt with you. We're going to shock the world, you guys. We are going to shock the world. Now, you think of people that think there's no way you can solve this problem of malnutrition, and they haven't met you yet. And I think when they come face to face with the reality of who you are and what you're capable of, people will take note and realize that, my goodness gracious, this Mission 5 Million, this group of people that have come together with one mission, can accomplish anything great. So I want to talk to you about some ways we're going to do that. I'm going to talk to you about a topic that we will find, this phenomenon that we will engage in. It's called momentum. And it's kind of odd because everybody kind of thinks because somebody enrolls 2 people in a week, they've got momentum. We throw this term around, momentum, like it's like, hey, I made 5 phone calls today, baby, you got momentum. And I know it makes us feel good, and I think it's a wonderful term to use, but I want you to understand what momentum really is. Because when we hit momentum, and keep in mind, August 30th is a date. It's a date certain I want you to put on your calendar, because that's the starting line of us crossing the Rubicon into that of a social entrepreneur company. It is a moment in time. So it's that moment that we will begin officially as a social entrepreneur company. So I guess my encouragement to you before then is run to the starting line. Don't walk to the starting line. Run to the starting line so that when you hit the starting line, you explode into your future. You know, when I played college football, they never told us to go up to the point of attack. They told us to go through the point of attack. You're not taught to go to the end zone. You're taught to go through the end zone. I mean, these are things that your goals, you don't go to a goal, you go through a goal. And if you miss your goal, you explode into the next BP. It gives you the ability to start creating momentum. And I will tell you as a leader, and I'm talking to each and every one of you, I don't give a rip what your rank is. You are a leader of your organization. You are the CEO of your own for-profit business. You are the person that is the one that's going to make a difference in your family's life. You are the person that's going to connect people to these 5 million children, and you are responsible as the leader for creating momentum. Now, here's the power of it. Everyone will enjoy the benefits of it. Everyone, as you create momentum, everyone around you, not only in your team, but in other teams. It's amazing how one person with a spark of hope and belief and activity and work that steps forward brings people in a vacuum with them. And the key is to understand momentum is not just fast growth. It's not just consistent growth. Momentum is unique. It makes things appear effortless. It's a wild phenomenon. When you are actually in momentum, it appears effortless. Now, it's hard. It appears effortless, but all the work you did to get there was not effortless. It just looks that way. And the power of momentum is it lifts everyone's boats. You know, there are challenges that people are going to face that never attain momentum. And I'm going to just tick off a couple of them for you. People that will be around momentum and never get it for themselves oftentimes have a low self-image. And I'm going to tell you something. One of the great strengths of what we do is building people. Many people come into this space with a low self-image. It's not uncommon. We all have baggage. I got baggage. We all got stuff that bother us about ourselves. But I'm going to challenge you to read books. Read books. Remember, sales give financial depth to an organization, but books give depth to the leaders of the organization. So it's going to lift your self-image up. Associate with people that you admire. Associate with people that you aspire to be like. The people that never obtain momentum generally never work on themselves. So they maintain this low self-image. And there's others that are self-absorbed. They'll never obtain momentum. There's others that just want to do it their way. Let me tell you something. You are free to do it your way. No one can tell you you can't do it your way. You're an independent business person. But if you want to have great success in a team environment, you have to do it what's in the best interest of the team. There is a system to follow. And so these are going to be vital things, because the reality is even if the company has momentum, these kinds of people never participate in it. And it's sad because it's so simple to turn that. Listen, I've lived momentum. I worked with a company once that was at $900 million, and 6 years later, we were at almost $7 billion. And I could tell you right now that when you are in momentum, here's what will benefit you. When you are in momentum, what's going to happen is you don't have to be that good. You just have to be competent. And if you're confident in momentum, it's amazing how fast you'll grow. If you're not in momentum, you've got to work extra hard. So momentum is this incredible thing, and I'll tell you what, it begins inside you. The writer Eleanor Doan wrote, "You cannot kindle a fire in any other heart until it is burning within your own." And in order to do that, you need vision. You need vision to plant seeds of momentum into other people. You need to celebrate their accomplishments. It's so easy for us to criticize other people. It's so easy for us to condemn people for what they're doing wrong, when in fact, if we look in the mirror, we realize there's a boatload of things we're doing wrong. But you've got to celebrate people's accomplishments, small accomplishments. That's how this all begins. It begins with one person. It begins small. But if you will plant seeds and honor people's accomplishments, it's amazing. John Maxwell says you need to, quote, honor people who move the ball, end quote. Think about that. Just focus your efforts on the ones that are moving the ball. Love the ones that aren't. Appreciate the ones that aren't. Many of the ones that aren't moving the ball doesn't mean they're not moving the ball in their own life personally, emotionally, just by their association with you. But in order to build a sustainable team and to create volume that helps the world and your world at the exact same time, you've got to surround yourself with the people that are moving the ball. It's so odd. If you take a leadership scale of 1 to 10, if the leaders of 5, they surround themselves with 2s and 3s because it makes them feel better. If the leaders of 7, they surround themselves with 8, 9s, and 10 because it makes them better. And so it's so important we learn to praise effort. Now listen to me, this is vital. We praise effort, but we reward accomplishment. Now you want to praise people for their efforts because it all begins with the effort. It all begins with the activity. People get started, they don't have instant success, but so we have to praise their effort. I mean, I don't know where you fit in on this, but I'm an approval kind of guy. I like validation. I like to know that I'm doing it right. I like people to pat me on the back. I like people to say, good job, though. I like that. It makes me take that next step because we all look for that kind of reinforcement in our life, and too many people spend their lives with people around them condemning them, criticizing them, telling them they're not good enough. If we'll praise effort but reward accomplishment. You don't reward effort. You praise it, but you reward accomplishment. And the more you reward success, the more people strive for it. Because people, they'll keep moving for praise, but they'll take giant steps when they start being rewarded for their results. Benjamin Franklin said, never confuse motion with action. Don't confuse people being, and listen, there's a lot of people that are still organizing their desk. There's a lot of people that are transcribing their names list from one list to another list. There's a lot of people that are preparing for their moment. You've got to do the work for the moment. You know, you can sit in an unbelievable sports car in your garage and never get anywhere. There comes a point you got to turn on the engine, you got to steer the car out of the garage, you got to operate the pedals. And you know what you got to do first? Open the garage door. Don't waste your talent, your power, or your time sitting idle. You know, it's interesting. The person who doesn't find a way to create momentum is the person that won't realize their hopes and goals. They won't be able to move forward and explore their true potential. And here's the sad thing, and this is the heartbreaking thing. Some people are so afraid of what's ahead of them, they don't take that next step. And what they don't realize is their real greatness is ahead of them. Their real great potential is ahead of them. You know, you're not going to get there in fear. You're going to get there in action. You're not going to get there by talking about it. You're going to get there by walking about it. It's critical. It's a practical thing. It's the doing part. Listen, I'm going to address 5 things with you to create momentum. But let me give you a heads up to just a couple things before I get there to understand, to kind of set the stage for this. Number 1 is consider the cost of not changing. Consider what it's going to be like if they don't change. Now, listen. Talk about the grand mission. Consider the cost of 5 million children that need you. Consider the cost of 5 million children that need me. Consider the cost of 5 million children that need us. They need us because if without us, things may not happen in their life that should happen. Also consider the cost of the people that are sleeping in the room next door to you. Consider the cost of not changing. So do this. Keep it simple. Imagine your life in 5 years. If you don't change, that doesn't mean you're not comfortable. Listen, there's people on this phone right now that are wildly successful. We don't come together in this just because people need money. Sometimes we come together in this because people need time. Sometimes we come together in this because people need security. Sometimes we come together in this because people want to chart their own course. Sometimes we come together in this because people just want to be free. Sometimes we come together in this because people already have those things. They just want to help these children. I mean, this is great. We all come to the table with different needs, different wants, different ambitions. But the reality is, if you don't change, consider your life 5 years from now. You know, right there, do yourself a favor. And I know this is going to sound odd, but I really want you to do it. So much of how we succeed is what we visualize. It's what we see. It's what we can close our eyes and see. If you could picture yourself being 5 or 10 years older, and you have not made a significant decision, and you still haven't taken a chance, you still haven't taken control of yourself and said, I'm ready to go. There's a tendency sometimes to talk about it and then not do it. We find excuses for not picking up the phone. We find excuses. Listen, the power of Mission 5 Million is your job is to ask people for help. Your job is to say, Fred, I need your help. I'm working with a social entrepreneur company that has a mission to help 5 million children suffering from malnutrition. And brother, I need your help. Well, what is it? Are you familiar with Tom's shoes? You know the response. I've said this response a million times. The reality is that's all it is. So ask for help. You know, it's kind of interesting. Change is this thing that many of us don't like. A lot of people don't like change. I'm a goofball that kind of enjoys change. I thrive on change. My attitude is, listen, I've gone through changes that were disasters, but I've also gone through changes that were remarkable. And I would rather risk the remarkable any day. I'd rather know that when I make that change, yeah, sometimes I've made more mistakes than everyone on this phone. I've had more failures than everyone on this phone. I've done things that I look back and think, why on earth did you do that? Listen, I bought a motor coach one time, and some of y'all may like motor coaches, but my wife said to me when I called her up and said, oh, baby, I got a chance to buy Darrell Waltrip's motor coach. And if you don't know him, he's a NASCAR driver. And my wife said, Bo, you're a hotel and airplane guy. What are you talking about? I said, it's stunning. And it was Christmas time, and it was hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And she said, you're crazy. And I said, oh, but baby, I got to do it. And she said, okay, Merry Christmas, buy it, bring it home. On my way home in this motor coach, I'm going, what on earth have you done? Okay, my point is, I've done dumb things. And I've lived to regret some dumb things. But the reality is, I've also done things that have been remarkable. And here's why. I've made decisions. You know, I remember when I was probably 30-something years old, and we were back in my high school area, and I went to my high school. And I remember sitting at this staircase and where we used to hang out, and I remember looking at a door with a big glass plate in it, and I saw my reflection. And first off, I said, "You're getting older," because you're sitting in high school and you're 30-something years old. But I remember looking at this mirror and saying, "You know something, Bo? You've made some pretty dumb decisions in your life." And then I said to myself, "And you've made some remarkable decisions in your life." And before I left, I remember looking in the mirror and said, "But you know, at least you made decisions." And I got to tell you something, folks. There is so many great things awaiting you when you make these decisions. Number 2, passion creates momentum. When we're passionate, we act with purpose. We overcome our fears, we take chances, we make tough decisions, we push the boundaries, we explore our potential, we become solution-focused. Here's what's wild. When you're passionate about something, you find solutions. You become very resourceful. And number 3, before I get into these 5 things, is momentum comes later on in the game. It would be awesome. It would be awesome if you started something and you won immediately. I believe with all my soul that momentum rewards diligent, consistent effort. It's the reward for the activity. It's the reward for the results. Momentum rewards diligent, consistent effort. And it comes later. And it's designed to whittle out. I believe great success is that process is designed to whittle out the pretenders. It's designed to whittle out just the talkers. Momentum rewards the diligent, consistent effort. So let me give you these 5 things, and then I'm going to send you on your way and say you have an awesome day. Number 1, 5 ways to create momentum. Have a clear vision for your future. Then establish realistic stretch goals to get there. Okay? Develop a vision where you want to go and keep it in front of you. Get pictures of it. Get pictures. I tell people all the time, if you watch professional Olympians before their event, their eyes are closed and they are seeing themselves getting a gold medal every time. And if it's good enough for an Olympian, it's good enough for you and me. If it's good enough for a world-class athlete, why not you and me? What do they know that we don't know? And I'll guarantee you, Sam Castor, the more I'm around this man, the more I realize this guy has incredible vision. He sees things. He can close his eyes and see. He sees Mission 5 million. He knows we're going to get there. And we all want to be a part of something big. And continually remind yourself and your team about their vision. And it's got to be important. It's got to be more than just stuff. You're not going to do this long term for a car, because at the end of the day, your car is fine. Even if your car doesn't run well, at the end of the day, your car is going to be fine. You've got to think of something bigger. You've got to think of something that helps contribute to the world and the well-being of others. And that kind of a vision inspires people. And then set your goals. Make your goals clear, concise, and put a date on them. That's the power of a goal. It's got a date on it. And keep this in mind. You're going to miss a ton of your goals. I've missed more goals than anybody on this phone. I continually miss goals. And you know what? I don't lose sleep over it. I used to lose sleep a lot. In the early days, I'd miss a goal. I'd be all depressed. I'd sit there and think, oh, what's wrong with me? Maybe I'm not as good as I want to be, and all this silly stuff. Then I realized, wait a minute, I set some pretty strong goals. And if I miss a goal, at least I'm missing a goal in motion. At least I'm missing a goal going forward. At least I'm missing a goal taking a step in the right direction. And I use these things, I use pictures around me to remind me, to inspire me to keep going. And you know, as a subset of number 1, gain some clarity and certainty. Get clear about what you want. Don't wait for your life to happen. Make your life happen. So number 1, have a clear vision for your future, then establish realistic stretch goals to get there. Number 2, achieving momentum starts with creating forward progress. And here's the truth. You know it. I know it. It's not what we're doing here. It's anything in your life. Getting started is the hardest part. Getting started on the diet. Look, I've got that same 10 pounds that follows me my whole life. I gain it, I lose it. I gain it, I lose it. It's the most aggravating 10 pounds. I've probably lost that 10 pounds 10 times a year. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the hardest part of a diet is getting started. It's that first 3 days, you know. And before the first 3 days, it's that moment when you go, I probably should go on a diet. I really should go on a diet. And for a month, you're saying, I really should go on a diet. And then when you go on a diet, for the first 3 days, you're saying, I don't know that I want to do this. Y'all know what I'm talking about? It's the hardest part. like the law of inertia. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. And momentum is what happens only when you get moving. So whatever your goal is, take a step towards it. And I'm not talking about a week from now. I'm not talking about the next VP. I'm not talking about saying, well, maybe I'll start the next VP. I'm talking about starting now. Take the first step and keep stepping. You know, anyone with a basic understanding of physics will tell you that maintaining momentum is significantly easier than creating it. You say it one more time. Maintaining momentum is significantly easier than creating it. So the work is in the beginning. And the first step, that first step that's hard to make is the scariest. But listen to me, it is the most empowering. The fifth step isn't empowering. It's the first step that empowers you. It's the first step when you go to bed and say, I did it. You know, at the end of your day, after you've taken the first step, you go to bed, you close your eyes, and you say to yourself, I did it. And that is empowering. While it's scary, it's empowering. Let me tell you something about fear. My wife says this. She goes, look, don't be afraid of anything unless it can eat you. All right? So let's have that as a deal. If it can't eat you, it ain't going to hurt you. And so don't worry about it. And by the way, forgive me for saying ain't a lot. My wife was an English literature art history major, and she always corrects me on saying that. But I'm from Georgia, so there you go. Procrastination is the enemy of potential. Think about that for a minute. Waiting, putting off. That is the enemy of potential. It's the I don't know how to say it, but it's the refuge of the weak, and it is where people tend to curl up and find themselves in a position where they say, gosh, I wish I weren't like this. I mean, here's what's neat. You ever taken that first step and you said something like this, wow, I wish I'd done that years ago? And you would go, I've done that. I've heard this a million times. Man, I wish I'd done that a long time ago. I don't know what I was so afraid of. There was nothing to be afraid of. That's a common thing. And here's the beauty of it. Everything after the first step is a blessing or a lesson. It can be a blessing or a lesson. And even the lessons are blessings. You know, I talk all the time about do enough of the right things. Don't just do enough, because a lot of people do enough of the wrong things. Some people don't do enough of the right things. But when you marry doing enough of the right things, it's done. It's done. And you will have success. Number 3, apply the principle of massive action. Apply the principle of massive action. It's the law of big numbers. In the Olympics, the 100-meter sprint, the most important part of the race is leaving the starting box. It's the explosion. You often find sprinters that have a quick reaction time are able to leave the start with power, and they gain momentum faster. They don't dip their toe in the water, they jump in the water. And that's going to be important. So when you make the decision, whenever you make it, listen, here's what I love about what we do. This is the beauty of what we do. If you haven't made the decision now, it's okay. When you're ready to make the decision, do this stuff. But be around this nurturing environment so that you can make that decision. And don't make yourself feel bad. You know, we all have enough things to feel bad about in our life. And being around good people is not one of them. Knowing that if all you have on the orange band you wear is your peg put in one simple act, we need 5 million people just like that. You are making that difference with us. So, but this principle of massive action, it helps create leverage. And if you leverage this action of massive action, and know it begins with you, before you know it, you'll have 3 people like you. You'll have 5 people like you. They'll have 3 to 5 people like them. They'll have 3 to 5 people like them. And you couldn't stop it if your life depended on it. Number 4, follow one success immediately with another. I'm a huge believer in setting a goal and rewarding yourself for the goal. But I'm not a believer in, hey, when I go national director, I'm going to take a week off and go on vacation. That's a different kind of goal. Set that for presidential. But set a goal, maybe I'm going to take my family out to dinner. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret about some of these successes and these goals. Find out tell your children, say, listen, we have a personal family goal. We have a goal to help 5 million children that are suffering from malnutrition. That's a major part of our mission. But Fred, your son, whoever your son's name is, Freddie, here's the deal. when we hit this rank, we're going to make a little bit more money. If we do that, what would you like for $15? What would you like for $20? Let's get a picture of something you want and put it on the refrigerator. So when mom and dad may be hesitant to pick up the phone, little Freddie's going to say, Mom and Dad, you see that thing on the refrigerator? I want that, and I'm not going to get that until you do this. And it's amazing when you get that kind of pressure internally. You'll do things for your children you won't do for yourself. And I don't care what motivates you to do it. Just do it. You know, but follow one success. When's the best time to make a phone call? After a successful phone call. When's the time to sit down and share this mission with somebody? After you successfully shared the mission with somebody. When's the best time to get a new customer? After you got a new customer. The best time to do it is when you've just done it, because it has helped you create momentum. You are most motivated immediately following success, not failure. So keep moving. Just keep moving. And number 5, create wins for your team. Now, think about this. Having seen your success, the motivation of your teammates will be rising. They're watching you. Don't wait for them. They're watching you. You're the leader. So as you step forward, the motivation of your teammate rises. The people around you, that rises, not just in your team, but in other teams. And you can capitalize on this by putting them in situations that allow them to see wins. Put them in these situations. Make sure if your mentors are having an event, you're there so that your team sees other people winning. The more wins they can have, the more confidence they'll have, and the more momentum they'll build. And just also make sure you're not neglecting the massive personal action for yourself. None of us are so good that we expect other people to do it. None of us are that good. We have to do it. We have to lead. And we don't lead by what we say, we lead by what we do. And then when you have momentum, hold on tight to it. Momentum can propel you and your business so far ahead of your goals, it will shock you. Now think about this. Momentum as a team, as one M5M family, can propel us so far ahead of our own goals together, it'll shock the world. Number 1, have a clear vision for your future, then establish realistic stretch goals to get there. Number 2, achieving momentum starts with creating forward progress. Number 3, apply the principles of massive action. Number 4, follow one success immediately with another. And number 5, create wins for your team. And I'll just leave with this. I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud that we are in pursuit of something so much bigger than ourselves. But because we're in pursuit of something bigger than ourselves, it's going to bless all of us. It's a law. It's a law, y'all. You can't deny it. The more you give, the more you get. And goodwill is like a money-making machine in your basement. You can print out goodwill for free, and you give it away, and you give it away. And when you sit there and put this grand mission in front of you, and you realize that if I will sincerely work to help these 5 million children, my family will be blessed. It's a law, and it's like gravity. You can't deny it. I hope you have an awesome day. I love you guys. I'm proud of you, and I'm just honored to be on the team with you. And just go take on the day, and let's go create more momentum than we've ever seen in our lives. God bless. Bye-bye.